This is another 6-player fixed card game which is being played with public randoms. The white, blue and green players are beginners, and the black and purple players are intermediates. And what I already see is that the white player is going for Australia. But with him trying to capture it immediately while wasting a ton of troops, I would say that was a really bad choice, as he just ended up highly weakening himself and probably not gonna get Australia anyway. So he just basically cleared out Australia for another player, and whichever player gets it, will be very thankful for the white player for his services for sure. And as we can see, the black player is already going for it, wiping the white player out. But I would say that the black player is being in a rush too, and at the end can end up not holding Australia too. While he was just laughing at the white player's moves, he basically ended up doing the same, self-destroying himself for the same exact continent. So at the end it might be held by neither of them, but by not me also. While I could have built up a big stack in Asia, I decided that I will rather go for North America instead. As those beginners are crazy, so I will rather not risk stepping in their way and let them deal by themselves. The purple player could actually be the one who could get Australia soon. He might teach those beginners a good lesson to not waste their troops like that. But anyway, isn't that nice when a bunch of beginners fight for Australia? No Australia, no win. The best risk strategy ever, either get at any cost or lose the game. Actually, it would be funny if the purple player didn't get Australia either, and some another player at the end would end up holding it. That would be hilarious for sure. So for example, green, as myself, I'm busy with North America, while the blue player is clearly going for South America. The white player is already just rage quitting, so it's the game over for him. And with the black player being weakened by a lot of also, I assume he will get eliminated soon as well. I would say that's a bad decision for the black player to add his troops in Australia. The purple player has already showed that he wants to go for Australia by bringing his troop stack on Siam, and with him being another low-ranked player, he will definitely not going to back out. So the black player should be expecting of getting wiped out. Anyway, as you can see, I made 2 allies. The blue player took a totally different approach when getting a continent in comparison with the white and black players. It was smart for him to fortify a big stack of his troops from Europe to South America and only go to capturing South America only when he was confident that he will successfully capture and hold it without the need of wasting a ton of troops which could self-destroy himself. So with the blue player making a very smart move and fortifying his troops to South America, but not like immediately adding his troops in South America and trying to capture it immediately, making himself barely alive, I decided to take a look at his stats again. And no, that reasonable sense when it comes to going for a continent, wasn't something I would expect from a brand new account with 4 straight losses. The white and black players were much more experienced, but they played way worse than him. So by scrolling through his stats down, I saw that the fastest win was 2 minutes, while the slowest one was 3 minutes. Of course these games were single player, but I mean no brand new player would manage to get those fast wins even when playing with bots. So with me getting the vibes of him being an alternative account of already experienced player, I decided to send an alliance request to him so he wouldn't be targeting me as another high-ranked player in a game with a bunch of inexperienced players, as from my experience in such games, high-ranked players usually go after each other. And if he was an enemy for me, then the situation would have looked miserable for me with me not having any continent at all while he was about to get and hold South America. And then when it comes to green, I saw that he was about to capture Europe, so with him potentially becoming a strong big continent player while I do not have any continent myself, I wouldn't have liked that he would potentially go after me either, so I sent him an alliance request, so he would be targeting other players once he gets a continent as well, but not me. And look, the blue player definitely knows what he is doing. He makes his moves like a decent player. So I'm just not sure why after taking out white he didn't go for the black player as well, as the black player was even weaker than white and then had one card more than the white player, so I think if I were blue, then I would have eliminated both of these players, or in case for some reasons he wanted to only take out one, then the black player would have been a better choice over white. But with the black player being taken out by the purple player, I'm happy anyway. Well, I'm not that happy that he got a bunch of cards for basically free, but what I'm happy about is that it brought us to a 4-player situation, meaning that only one more player to go after we get to the 3-player situation. And since this game is with low-ranked players, the logic behind it is being the player who pisses off others the least. Low-ranked players don't really know about the balance of the game and usually go by the emotions, so in order to win ideally you want that other players would be more annoyed with each other rather than you, so ideally you would like to stay out of the conflicts as much as possible while letting other players fight each other. So even though I'm struggling of getting North America, I do not that much worried at all, as even though I might be the weakest, I will probably be the player to who others will be paying their attention the least, and this is what you seek when playing with a bunch of low-ranked players. And I think the green player just proves my point. It only needed for the blue player to invade the green player into his continent attacking one troop territory once, so the green player would instantly go suicide mode on him, pretty much ruining the game for both of them. But the good news for green is that it doesn't worth for me to take him out as well. And since we got to a 3-player situation, he has some chances to survive, but I would say they are very tiny, so unless the purple player won't invade the green player either. But the purple player seems to be an aggressive player, so I don't think he would instantly decide to switch to turtling. I cut him off from both of my weaker North American borders, so if he wants to retaliate and invade me as well, then firstly he will need to go through one of the continents of the green player pissing him off. I doubt that the green player survives, but if he actually does somehow, then I want that he would help me to attack purple, potentially even going the suicide mode on him as well like it happened remembering the situation of the blue player. I'm trying to appear him of staying a very good ally, so he could potentially give away me the game without realizing it. The honey trap strategy might have taken the place. But with the purple player invading him and with the green player not receiving big troop bonuses, I think it's just the best to take the green player out and prepare for the endgame with the purple player, especially when knowing that green could potentially trade in a set at 3 cards, so then that opportunity could be gone, like if he decides to just simply start turtling. The green player was a nice ally but he just self-destroyed himself, and the blue player was a great ally too but he just got crushed by green. Obviously I wasn't going to keep them alive when they were barely surviving and when they were definitely worth to be taken out to highly improve my position by a lot. Actually it's an even winning move to take the green player out, as with the purple player's troops staying blocked in Australia I'm going to get a ton of troops for holding those continents. Actually it would have been good to add more troops on the Alaskan border, but only North America was invaded so that doesn't really matter that much. Especially when the purple player just continues blocking himself in Australia, giving me the opportunity to shrink my borders to only 2, and then even prevent him from getting cards. No idea why does he think it's a good idea to keep his army in Australia, but either way that's a GG. I've got enough troops to take him out.